Hello students, now let's see the next concept, pseudocode and the flowchart. Pseudocode is informal language like English that we have to write to develop the algorithm. It helps us the programmer to write a code for the algorithm. So the pseudocode is artificial and the informal language that helps the programmer to develop the algorithms. Pseudocode may be the informal English and the combination of the computer language and the spoken language that is going to work for you and help us to write the algorithms. So for example, we will see the example. The problem is we have to write the algorithm to determine the student's grade, indicate whether he is passed or failed. The final grade is calculated is the average of the 4 marks. So how we can write the pseudocode in the simple or the informal English languages? We have to take the input for the 4 marks, 4 subject marks, calculate their average by adding and divide by the total number of the subject, that is 4, and if the average is below 60, we have to say print it is failed, else we have to print what the pass. So the same pseudocode, if we can use it to write the detailed algorithm, so we will use the algorithm, we will write the algorithm step by step, read the M1, M2, M3, M4, and the second step is calculate the grade, and after that we will see whether the grade is less than 60, and if that is the case, we have to print the output or write the case as a fail, else we have to write the pass. So now we will see that what are the different conventions that we have to use it when we have to write the pseudocode. So the first is we can use like the double slash for what the comment and it is a single line comment. So after that the blocks are used like by using the opening brace and the closing brace, and the statement you can delimited by the semicolon. So the next is identifier. You can begin with a letter, and in the pseudocode we don't have to mention the data type of the variable. So the type of the variable we have to decide, or we should interpret depending on the context. So the global and the local will also is going to be clear from what the its context. Assignment operator we can use by using this particular operator, that is colon and the equal to. So by using this operator we can write the assignment operator. We are going to use the boolean values true and false, and the logical operator like and or not, and all relational operator that we know. So in this way, these are the conventions that we will use it when writing the pseudocode. So whenever you are using the array in the pseudocode, you can use the normal array convention, that is what the square bracket, and if it is a 2D, you can use the row comma column in the square bracket respectively. And again we have to see that the array index is going to start with the 0. So the next is, if I want to write the while loop, so we have to write the while keyword, we have to write the condition which will evaluate as the boolean value, and after that the do, and we have to write the block opening and the closing. So the next is we can use the repeat until loop, which is very similar like do while in the C language. So the repeat and exactly this block is going to be executed at least once, and after that it is going to consider or evaluate the condition. If it is true, again it is going to be what the go to the starting of the block, and it will execute the block again. Again it will execute the condition or evaluate the condition. We can also use the for loop for the iterative statement. So I is equal to, we have to use the I is equal to 1, that is what the assignment operator, and 2 the 5 and do, and after that we have to use the block. So we can also use the conditional statement. So in the conditional statement we can use the if else. So if condition then, So you can use only the if condition, then and the statement. You can also use if and statement, so that time if condition then statement and statement. So in this way you can use the if conditional statement. We can also use switch like statement by using the case statement. So the case, and we have to write the values of the cases and colon corresponding block which we want to execute for that particular condition. So in this way we have to say, and this is the else one is nothing but what the default value. If any value is not matching, then it will what execute this corresponding statement. So input and the output in the code, we will write pseudocode by using the read and the write instruction. And whenever we will declare the algorithm, at that time we have to write the algorithm keyword. After that, the name of the algorithm, in the bracket we will give the parameter. As I mentioned, you don't have to specify the data type for the variables. From this context we have to identify what can be the data type. So here algorithms may return the value or may not return the value. So you don't have to bother if the algorithm max is returning the value. You don't have to mention the return type. So only the return statement you can write in the algorithm, that is in the block. And simple variable in the procedure are passed by the value. Array and the record name you have to treat as a pointer. So we will see the example so we can understand over here. Here I am passing the three variables, length, width and area. So that's why I am not returning any value. So here I am reading L and what the B area is equal to, I am evaluating L multiplied by B and writing this. Suppose this area rectangle is going to return the value. So that time you don't require this particular what you can say the argument. So L and B, and you can write what the return statement, and you can say that you will return what the area. So here the last statement you can write the return area.